Welcome back, true creators. So, you want to put any clothing on any metahuman? I've got the step-by-step method ready for you. Let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so to start out with, make sure that you have a metahuman already prepared, so like I've already done here. But the other thing we're going to do is, we're going to go to the Fab Marketplace by grabbing the tab here. Once in the Fab Marketplace, type in the word pirate. Then you can download this asset right here, which is the pirate asset, and it's completely free. And then all you have to do is add it to the project. Make sure you choose the most recent version of it and select add to the project. Now, right here, we can just go ahead and we can close this out right here, okay? And we can also close this tab here. And remember, we can do a Control-Shift-S to save. Okay, so to start out with, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hit Control-N, and then we're gonna create a basic level. All right, and we can just go ahead and hit Create. Now, once we have our new level, we're gonna hit the Save, and then right here, you can see instead of having a content, I got it on the third person folder next to the third person map. And we're just gonna call this Change Room. Okay, now for the next step here, we're gonna need to go to the content drawer again, and we're gonna use a metahuman that we already have. And I'm gonna use, mine is called Jane, and I'm gonna use her body under her mesh here. Now, we're just going to take the skeletal mesh asset and drag and drop it onto the level. And then while we're here, while it's still highlighted, let's just go ahead and make sure we center it into the middle of the actual level. Now, let's go back to our content drawer. Let's go into our Jane folder again, or whatever your metahuman's name is, and go to the face, and we're going to take the face mesh. We're going to grab and drag it and put it right onto the actual character's skeletal mesh body. Next, we are going to need to add the actual skeletal mesh of the outfit. So let's go to our content drawer. Once again, go to Pirate. We're going to use the mesh UE5 for the pirate, and we're going to use the separate. Okay. Now, right here, just to narrow things down, we're going to go ahead and use the filter. The filter will be this skeletal mesh right here, okay? And for the skeletal mesh, we're going to just only do the jacket in this tutorial. So we're going to grab the bottom here, drag that into the level. And since this particular item comes in pieces, what we're going to do is we're going to just put it together. So we've got the bottom piece here, and remember, we've got it highlighted right here. The pirate cloak down, and we're going to grab his top, and we're going to set that on there as well. Okay, we're just going to do the same thing like we did for the metahuman. We're going to drag on some different pieces. I like this little red thing here. Add that, it's a little scarf. And there's a belt piece we can add. We can go ahead and add that right onto the skeletal mesh component here. And then let's see what we got. We can also add this other little red sash here. And I think that looks pretty good. I think that's enough of that outfit. Now that we have this, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to Actor. We're going to go ahead and we're going to convert this full mesh into a skeletal or into a static mesh. We're going to save it in the content folder, and we're going to call it SM_pirate jacket. And we're going to hit save. And that created a static mesh right in our content folder. Let's do a Control-Shift-S to save our work. All right, now that we got that done, we don't need the original static mesh or skeletal mesh, so we can delete that just so we're not confused. Then we can back up, and right here, we're going to drag in the static mesh. With the static mesh in the level, we're going to hit this to make it 0 location in the world. And then we're going to go over to the static mesh. Now right here, you don't want to move this by location. You want to just adjust the scale first, and usually that'll set things more correctly. So let's go ahead and while we get the pirate jacket still highlighted, let's go ahead and do a lock on the scale and let's change this to 0.9. That's gonna make it look a little bit better. Now, but however, when you're doing this, what we wanna do is we wanna give a little bit more width to the jacket. So we can unlock this right here. And if you look at the green arrow here and this green right here, little line, we're gonna set this to 1, okay? Now, the reason we're doing that is because the jacket needs to be a little bit bigger just so it's not it'll reduce some of the clipping when the character's moving, okay? Unless, of course, you make the underlying mesh disappear, the vertices there and disappear, okay? So let's make sure we do a save for that. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, like, you could adjust it even more. Like, you could go into the Z-axis now since it's undone. We could do 0.88. That might look a little bit better, but I think I'm going to stick with the 0.9, and we'll see how it goes from there. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do next is we're going to select this modeling tab. While we're here, we're going to go into deform. And under deform, what we want to do is we're going to hit dynamic sculpt. In dynamic sculpt, we're going to scroll down under remeshing, and we're going to do an enable remeshing. We're going to set that to false. Scroll back up here, and right here you can see we got this globe here. This is going to help us drag and drop or drag the different vertices. Now, before we do it, just to make it a little bit easier, we're just gonna go scroll all the way down to the bottom in deform. We're gonna change maybe the color to something crazy, like a weird, maybe fuchsia here, or pink, or whatever this is. Hit OK. And we wanna go right here and hit unlit, and that'll really put a spotlight on everything. Now, with this pirate jacket, it's a little bit tough to tell, because some of these are just holes inside of the actual fabric here. But you can do S and D to adjust. And the way it works is you just do a left click and drag and you can move stuff around. So that's how this dynamic remeshing works. Make sure that you have that box set to false because it doesn't quite work the way you expect. So like, look at this hole here. We're just gonna grab and drag this out and that'll get rid of that. All right, I'm gonna touch this up and I'm gonna speed run it and you guys can watch. All right, here we go. Okay, so once you've sculpted it as best you can, and you know, sometimes it may take a little bit of time to figure out what you want, you're gonna go over to the X form right here. And right here, we got two different things we need to do. One is we need to do something called edit the pivot. So we're gonna try doing that first. So we clicked edit pivot and we wanna click on world origin because that's just gonna center the character right at its world origin. And then we're gonna accept the pivot, okay? Next, we're gonna hit bake transform. Same thing with the transform. Bake and transform means that we're gonna set the scale so the actual jacket doesn't change size, it stays this size. So let's go ahead and bake the transform, so hit accept. Okay, now we can go ahead, we can set this back to the selection mode here, and we can change this unlit back to lit so we can have our character look normal. Okay, looks pretty good. But like I said, there are some holes in this jacket, so just you will see a little bit of clipping because of that. Okay, now let's go ahead and hit Control Shift S so we can save. And then next we're gonna go back to our content drawer, right? And this jacket has been updated because we kept from the modeling. So all we're gonna do right now is we're gonna right click here and we're going to convert it to a skeletal mesh. And yeah, like you can see here, now the options you have, it'll start probably out like this, but what we want is we want to go to use existing skeletal mesh, okay? And then all it's gonna do is change that prefix from SM to SKM for skeletal mesh, okay, instead of static mesh. So once you have this set, we can go ahead and hit convert. Do a Control Shift S. Next, under the skeletal mesh part right here, and actually let's clear this filter. Okay, hit reset. And we're going to double click the skeletal mesh. And what we want to do under skin here, we're going to do something called edit weights. Okay. Now, for the weights, all we're doing is getting a source mesh, which is going to be our character's skeletal mesh, right? So in this case, it's going to be Jane. And we're using Jane's body mesh, okay? Scroll out, you can see that's what we got going on here. And what we want to do is we just want to do a transfer of weights. All it's saying is taking this skeleton, right, that's inside of here, because we made basically we made a Manny skeleton in here, or I mean not Manny, a metahuman skeleton, and we're going to copy its weights from here to here. So all you have to do is hit transfer weights. Transfer weights has popped up, and then you just want to hit the actual accept. All right, so let's go ahead and hit save. Now, let's go back to our content folder here. And in the content folder here, we're gonna create about 3 more assets. So the first asset we're gonna create, let's see. It's called a clothing asset. If we right click here and we type in cloth, it's cloth asset, I believe, cloth. Yeah, we're gonna select cloth asset. And for the cloth asset, we're gonna call it a capital CA underscore pirate jacket. Control Shift S. We're gonna open up the cloth asset and we're going to delete all this. And we're gonna right click here and we're gonna create something called skeletal mesh. I want to say skeletal import. Yes, a skeletal mesh import. And off of here, we're going to get something called a cloth. Cloth terminal. Cloth asset terminal, I believe. Yes. Right here, we're gonna select the skeletal mesh import. And under skeletal mesh import, we're going to get our pirate jacket. And we're gonna let that populate. Okay, that's all you need to do for that. So we're gonna make sure we hit save for this graph. And then now we're gonna go back to our content folder and we're gonna make another asset. And this asset is gonna be called, let's see, outfit asset. So first we need the cloth asset, now we need the outfit asset. So now we're gonna do OA underscore pirate jacket. And we wanna make sure we do this as a resizable outfit. Do a Control Shift S, and let's go ahead and open that up. Right here, you're gonna click on the size outfit source. We're going to add right here, click on the add button, and we're gonna create this index here. And we need the source asset, right? So it's gonna be the CA, I'm sorry. Yes, it's gonna be the CA right here. So the cloth asset is what we wanna use for the source asset. And then for the source body part, we're going to use the Jane's body mesh. And we want to make sure we do a save. Okay, now we're going to need to make another asset. We're going to right click here and we're going to type in wardrobe item. And we're going to add that. So we're just going to call this WI underscore. Oops. WI underscore pirate jacket. All right. Now we're gonna double click this, open it up. And what we want to do for the principal asset, we want to use the OA underscore asset. So the OA pirate jacket. That's the asset we just made. So we needed the skeletal mesh for the cloth asset, the cloth asset for the outfit asset, and this is crazy. We needed the actual wardrobe item for the outfit asset. So that's what's going on here. It all works together. And what we want to do here is we're going to do a metahuman pipeline or outfit. Yeah, metahuman outfit pipeline. And under the pipeline here, we need to do the edit one. So it's the only one that it offers. All right. Now we can just go ahead and hit save. Now we can go ahead and we can go back to the change room, which is fine. And we can open up the content drawer. And right here, we're going to need to go into our metahuman. Okay. And we're going to pick our metahuman character. Now I've got my character rigged already. And if you followed a tutorial, the other tutorial I have on this channel, yeah, so just double click into it. And then right here, we're going to add, we're just going to go to where select the viewport, and we're going to add to the body, we're going to add a skeletal mesh. And we're going to call it chest. Let's do a compile and a save. Now, we need to go back to our metahuman creator. So go to the content drawer, go back. Okay, we're back in our metahuman. Let's go to, well, actually, I got mine stored under the content in the third person folder in blueprints. And you need your metahuman creator asset here. And all you got to do is just double click here. All right, let's make sure that we hit the save. And then we're going to go to where it says hair. And well, it's going to say it's hair and body. So we're going to scroll down right here. And right here where the clothing is, let's see, this was something I had done before. We're going to remove that. Okay, so now that, okay, we're here and it's open, we're going to go to the hair, right? And you can scroll down until you hit the outfits, right? Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to go to the content. And we want the wardrobe item. So this one right here. I'm going to drag and drop that in. And right here, I'm going to remove the actual, you could leave this on and put both these on and assemble this character. And then you would have two outfits. But for this tutorial, I don't really see a point to that. I just figured I'd tell you. I was thinking it'd be valuable. So we're just going to remove that item. And we're going to add the one that we made. Let's do, yeah, let's hit where. Now, yeah, my computer's a little bit slower, but hopefully yours is faster than mine. But yeah, it may take a little bit of time. So as you can see, though, it's there. And now our metahuman's got a wardrobe outfit. And while we're here, I'm just going to close out some of these tabs here. Now what we want to do is we want to go to the assemble, right? But we're going to even though you already have your metahuman here, you're going to need to create it again. I'm not sure how just to only do the clothing yet. So, but yeah, I'm just using the same one here. I'm just going to do Jane 00. And then I'm just going to hit assemble, and it's going to create this character with this clothing. Okay, so real quick, something that will probably help you. I think at the default, this editor is a very high memory thing here. So if we go here, you see where it says epic right here with this little diamond here? We can change this setting to like medium for now, and that'll give us a little bit better performance, okay? So let's just make sure that we save this particular project here. We're gonna do a control, let's see, Control Shift S, and that'll save everything inside the project. Okay, so to find where our jacket is, we're gonna open it up here. We're gonna go into Metahumans. We're going into the Jane 00 folder and under clothing, and that's where our skeletal mesh is. Now, let's just go ahead and highlight this. And then let's go to the actual Metahuman blueprint. Let's select the chest here, and let's just use this arrow here to populate the skeletal mesh. And then as you can see, let's see right here, now your character has the jacket on. Okay, so before we head to the third person, I'm gonna show you something that I made a mistake on, and hopefully you won't make the same mistake. So let's go to the third person level. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. So right now I've got my default character. We're just gonna hit the play button. I know I misspoke. I know we're in the change room era level, but it's fine. So we'll hit the play button, right? Now, everything looks great, right? But notice when you run. Now, I struggled with this for a little bit, but I'm gonna show you how to fix that because I didn't mention the steps to fix that. So let's go ahead and let me show you. So first I'm gonna hit escape. I'm gonna go into my blueprint for my character here, okay? And right here where it says body, right? I'm going to look for the animation blueprint I used for the body, and I'm gonna hit this browse feature here in order to pull that up and highlight it. Then I'm gonna select the chest mesh where this jacket resides, and I'm going to populate it with, you're gonna use this little arrow key and populate it with that. So now you see it should fit a little bit better and it'll move with the animation. Compile and save. Let's go back to our level, hit the play, and you'll notice that everything for the most part works. Like I said, you're gonna get some clipping a little bit if the jacket's tight in certain spots when moving, but for the most part, that's it. Nice, you completed the video. Let's see what you can do with the next one. Let's go.